Yabba dabba doo. How's it going? If you understand that greeting, please stick around. That or you're a Flintstone fan. I don't really have much to say about the Flintstones, but I do have a lot to say about the recent Formula One triple header that I survived. It was my first Formula One triple header, and honestly, I'm exhausted. Like, so much has happened in 3 weeks. And 3 weeks doesn't sound like a long time, but too much has happened in 3 weeks. So that's what we're here to talk about. Welcome to ANYWHO. My name is Hannah. This is episode 8. And 8 is my favorite number. I, as a kid, was told that it would, sideways is an infinity sign, and that was just pure magic. So now it's been committed as my favorite number in time, but it's never been a jersey number that I've had. I think I've used 18, 17, 10. I'm not sure 8 was ever my jersey number, but it's been my favorite number. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about all things Formula One triple header that was this past week. It started in Barcelona 3 weeks ago. It was Barcelona, Austria, Great Britain. We did the British Grand Prix. We did Silverstone. Lewis Hamilton won the British Grand Prix. And I was so excited, for the build up to Silverstone, because it just seemed magical, which I'm going to blame Drive to Survive for why, not blame, it's not really a fault, for building up the Silverstone hype. The Silverstone hype, in my own head, was magical. It lived up to it. It lived up to it. It was so good. I wasn't even there. And it was so, just from George Russell starting on pole and taking out Lewis Hamilton from pole to then his car died. He had a water issue. Yeah, this was 2 days ago. Today's Tuesday. This was Sunday. George Russell DNF'd at the British Grand Prix for a water issue, like a lack of water, like a hydraulics issue. And the commentators were just, that was too funny to them. They were like, the only person who could have a lack of water problem right now, because it poured. It rained. It was classic British summer. Rained and rained and rained and rained. And it was... I love race cars so much. Can you tell? Can you tell that it's just this makes me giddy? Where do we start? Do we go back to Barcelona? I think I talked briefly about Barcelona in episode 6, because that was right after Barcelona. I also had a lot of hype going into Barcelona, but I was traveling that week, so I barely watched any of it. But I watched the race on the flight home on an airplane. None of these races did I watch in the same place in the span of 3 weeks. Austria I watched in my living room on my TV, and then Sunday I watched the British Grand Prix in my bed on my laptop, which I love this so much. I don't even know where to start. I have so much to talk about. So I'm just going to dive right into the fact that Nico Hülkenberg, in his Haas, out-qualified both Ferraris. The Haas's, in case you didn't know, have Ferrari engines in them. So Nico Hülkenberg's Haas was the best performing Ferrari engine during qualifying at the British Grand Prix. Thoroughly, I believe that Charles Leclerc switched out the Monaco curse for just a crappy rest of a season, because it's going yeah. I think at the British Grand Prix it was just what was your strategy? Because their strategy was weirdly the same as Checo Perez's Red Bull. But I understand Red Bull's strategy with Checo. The strategy with Checo was just sacrifice him. We need to test what tire to use. Put it on Checo's car. We need information from Max's Red Bull. That is Sergio Perez's point at Red Bull. And it might become null soon, because if you are following the rumors, he's on the chopping block. he is currently on the chopping block. Because as I was scrolling, I saw a podcast clip that really explained it better to me, besides the fact that Red Bull does have a history of chopping people. Just go ask Pierre Gasly. Yeah, and then Alex Albon, okay? But this podcast clip, don't know what podcast it was, sorry, can't give you credit, but that's what it was saying that Max can win a World Drivers' Championship. He can do it. He's, at this rate, got it in the bag. Just don't tell Lando that, because now we're fully in the delulu. Actually, no. This was before Austria. Lando was fully in the delulu that, delusional, that he could win. That he could win the World Drivers' Championship this year. But it kind of made sense, because, not kind of, it hopefully made sense. That going into Austria, he was only 70 points behind Max. So, okay, it was there. And then you fumbled really hard. And not fumbled, you just collided. You just pow, pow, crashed into each other. And Lando couldn't revive it, and Max could revive it. And now I don't even know how many points ahead Max is. But, back to Checo. It's not the World Drivers' Championship that is at risk at this point in time. It is Red Bull's Constructors' Championship. And that's what this podcast clip, that I don't remember what it was, so sorry, it was two guys talking, shocker, that Max cannot, in no combination of 25, 26 points a weekend, can single-handedly win a Constructors' Championship. You have two drivers for a reason. That's how you win a Constructors' Championship. And it's not Checo not scoring points, and Max, I mean, he was 5th in Austria. He was 2nd in Silverstone. So, like, that doesn't add up to your McLarens that are consistently doing, aside from Austria, 3-4, 2-4, you know? Even Mercedes now doing, one this. Oh, that Checo's got to get his shit together. And I think if he does not have his shit together by summer break, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a major, major problem, because in case you guys didn't know this about Formula One, you want to win largely for the glory, but significantly for the money. There's a lot of money that comes with not only winning a driver's championship, but for winning a constructor's championship. And that is what they're after. It's also why you see fights like end of seasons for 2nd versus 3rd, or 3rd versus 4th, because it's money. It's a money game. And Red Bull's not going to want to lose out on that. Also because they are the defending champion. But the McLarens and the Mercedes are looking good, much to Ferrari's chagrin. I mean, I believe Ferrari is still 2nd in the Drivers' Championship, which doesn't really add up anymore. I don't know why they're still there. But Red Bull with one Max Verstappen is not a match for two consistent other teams with two consistent drivers. Even with their share of DNFs this triple header, it's just, who I think needs the biggest award ever is Oscar Piastri. Guys, Oscar Piastri is our lovely little McLaren driver that is the only person to have completed 100% of the season so far. We are officially halfway through the Formula One season. We have finished 12 races. We have 12 more to go to make our giant number of 24. I believe we still have 2 more triple headers too. Woo! Go my sleep schedule! At least the back half season triple headers, I believe there's 2. They're all like North America, South America, kind of my time zone, basically. so I might sleep again. But what's also been ruining my sleep schedule is the triple header. This triple header included Formula 2. So I was waking up at ungodly hours, except for I didn't on Sunday. My alarm went off at 4:40 on Sunday, and I just did not rise for Formula 2. And considering I heard nothing about it, I'm assuming that's how it went. That is how the Formula 2 feature race went. I heard nothing about it. Isaac Hadjar won. That's all I know. I think Kimi Antonelli DNF'd out of the feature race. I don't know how Ollie did. But guys, everybody sit down for the greatest news ever. Dearest Ollie Behrman has signed for his Haas seat for next year. He has the contract. He is going to be a Formula 1 driver starting in 2025, Australia. I woke up to that on Thursday. Announcing a British driver to an American team on the 4th of July. Chef's kiss, incredible. I know it was leading into the British Grand Prix, but incredible. That is the news I wanted to wake up to. I literally woke up, Oliver Behrman's going to Haas. Thank you. Like, yes, 100%. I'm so happy. I am so proud. And I'm so ready to become a Haas fan next year. That said, I am a Nico Hülkenberg fan. I do love Hulk. He's incredible, and he's doing phenomenal job. He just... It is rumored, though, that Esteban Ocon is also going to Haas. And by the time this comes out on Friday, maybe there's already an answer to where Esty Bestie's going. But please don't let it be Haas. Like, the rumors are that it's going to be announced by summer break, because summer break is when we start making announcements. Or so I've been told. I say this like I know this. I don't know this. What is this silly season anyway? Excuse me, but like, Esteban Ocon is rumored to be going to Haas to fill the second Haas seat. And that just, no, thank you. No, I will pass, frankly. Esteban Ocon, for those of you that don't know, has this reputation for fighting his teammates, which is true. I mean, go ask Pierre Gasly in Monaco this year. What reason did Esteban Ocon have to run his car on top of Pierre? None. Zero. Nothing. There was nobody around. Yet he thoroughly launched his car off of him. And I don't think it's kind or fair to do that to our rookie. Can we really, why are you going to give this sweet, darling little Ollie Behrman Esteban Ocon? Like, why? K-Mag is a safe option for a rookie. He stays out of the way, except for in Austria when he was told that Kevin was also, not Kevin, we're talking about Kevin, that Nico Hülkenberg was also saving his tires, and he just goes, what did he say? He basically said like something along the lines of like, you know, like, that is like shit, like flat out on the radio, that's shit. So he's a little feisty, but like at the same time, he's just a dad to me. And I think that could be good for a rookie. I'm not sure how good that is for Esteban Ocon to have a rookie. Like, just let that sink in. Like, think about how bad of an idea that sounds like. Give Esty Bestie, the guy who's notorious for fighting his teammates, a poor little rookie. We're talking about poor little rookies. Kimi Antonelli won the Formula 2 sprint race on Saturday, and Toto Wolff has never been happier. Like, this weekend is like the epitome of Toto Wolff's happiness for the past 3 years. Like, he is so... Kimi Antonelli won the sprint race in the rain. It was red flagged. It was... I don't even know how many safety cars there were in that race. At one point, we went to the time limit because it was like 20 something laps. But it was also a time limit of, I believe, 45 minutes? A short time thing, but, or it might have been an hour. I don't really know. There was a time limit. And at one point we went to the time limit. But then we had like 2 laps left, so they just did the laps instead. But Kimi Antonelli managed to survive like 3 restarts, because they started on a safety car into a just, a standing start. Not a standing start, a rolling start. So he survived 3 rolling starts. I believe that's what they're called, right? Did I just make that up in my own head? It's a rolling start. But he survived them. He survived them all. And he won, and I was very proud. Go Kimi Antonelli. But that said, is it a good idea to throw Kimi Antonelli into the Mercedes seat for next year? Because I think about the point of junior teams. Because I actually wrote this down because I wanted to make sure I phrased this right. I wrote down a little rant because I was also ranting to myself out loud. So I want to make sure I get this right. So Antonelli won the sprint race. And, okay, I don't have the knowledge, the complete understanding to speak on Kimi Antonelli's skill level. Because I don't. He is spoken of so highly, and I believe that. I believe he's a good driver, but I also... that's not my expertise to speak on you to that. But what I do understand is the point of junior teams. Your Mercedes junior team is Williams. Red Bull's junior team is RBV Carb, was Toro Rosso. Ferrari's junior team was Alfa Romeo, is now Haas. And I look, because I know this, that even Max started at Toro Rosso. Max did a season and a half at Toro Rosso before going up to Red Bull. Charles Leclerc did a season at Alfa Romeo before jumping into the Ferrari seat. We're sending Oliver Behrman to the Haas seat. And I'm not making this up. This was genuinely a conversation that was had during free practice 1, that is Oliver Behrman going to the Haas seat to then go to the Ferrari seat when Lewis Hamilton is done? Because it's it's not a shocking fact that Lewis Hamilton is going to Ferrari to attempt to win an 8th championship and then retire. I'm not saying he's doing that next year, but I do think that's the end goal. That's the end evolution of what he's doing, is to go to Ferrari, win the championship, and be done. Which is a weird day to think about, the day Lewis Hamilton retires, and I was thinking about it last night, and I was like, what an era to end, because, going backwards, Lewis Hamilton won the British Grand Prix, and I think I screenshotted the list of accomplishments this all was. Did I? Yes, I did. Because the Formula One Instagram, this was the best thing that happened to them all year, was Lewis Hamilton winning. Excuse me. This is what they said. Nobody has ever won a Grand Prix after their 300th start. Nobody has ever won at the same track 9 times. Nobody has ever won a race 17 years after their first. Today, Lewis Hamilton changed all that. Anywho, so what happens when that man retires? And according to the broadcasters for Sky Sport, during the Formula One Free Practice 1 at the British Grand Prix with Oliver Behrman, and Franco Colapinto was in the Williams, and Isaac Hadjar was in the Red Bull. They also made a funny joke about that because Isaac Hadjar was in Checo Perez's Red Bull. And they go, could you imagine trying to ask Max to give up his car? No, it would not happen. You don't ask Max to do that. But Ollie, is he geared up to go into the Ferrari seat when Lewis Hamilton is done? Because Lewis Hamilton's never going to be done until he is done. That's him decision. When he crossed the finish line, it wasn't the Sky Sports broadcast. It was the other, I think it was the one that was going to local TV, was, this isn't a comeback, he's been here. When he crossed the finish line, I thought that was great. This isn't a comeback, he's been here. Um, but so that's my piece about junior teams. So do I feel that Kimi should go to Williams if he's going somewhere? I do. Because George spent, what, 2 years? 2 years in that Williams seat. Do you really want to throw a 17-year-old, almost 18, he turns 18 in August, into a Mercedes seat? My personal opinion is put Carlos in that seat. Put Carlos in the Mercedes on like a 1+1, 1+2 deal. 'Cause I think that's a good place for Carlos to go to wait to see what Audi does. So then Kimi can just be at Williams, and I feel it's less pressure. This was talked about Ollie in his Haas seat. You put a rookie in a midfield, lowered field team so you can make mistakes and you're not in a Mercedes seat. Because Lewis Hamilton is really big shoes to fill. The biggest shoes to fill is Lewis Hamilton after he's leaving a team he's been at for what? 11 years? Like that. It seems unfair to Kimi Antonelli to ask that of him. That's my piece on that. That's my hill. I don't know. He could be really ready. He could be really epic. I have nothing to speak on his skill level. My point is I can only speak to you about what I know about junior teams. That's my piece. That's my little molehill. That's what I have to say about that. But what I want to jump to is I wrote this joke down, and I did make the joke myself, so it's still a funny joke that I made. Okay? Okay, Toto Wolff. You ready for this joke? Toto Wolff cannot get over Max. Katy Perry sang The One That Got Away over a boy. Toto Wolff sings it louder about Max Verstappen. Toto Wolff cannot get over Max. He cannot get over Max, which goes back to the Kimi Antonelli thing. He does not want to lose Kimi Antonelli. Like he lost Max. He didn't sign Max, so he wants to sign Kimi Antonelli. But I feel like every week it's just Toto Wolff like, Max, you need to come here. Come on. No one is more delusional than Toto Wolff for Max Verstappen. He is the one that got away. I don't even know where else I am right now. What I do want to do is go down the drivers' standings and kind of tell you about each team, because each team is doing their own thing right now. But my last point about the drivers market is because we've officially signed a rookie for 2025, we now have 6 seats left. 6 seats out of 20 on the grid. And there are 7 drivers without contracts on the grid right now. So somebody's out. And in my humble opinion, that is Logan Sargent. Because James Vowles talks about that Williams seat like it is wide open. And I don't blame him, but there are rumors that Logan Sargent could be going to IndyCar, which could be good for him. Could really be good for Logan. Because let's be honest, he's been in Formula One now. This is his 2nd year, and he's never scored a point. Oscar was also a rookie last year. And look at where Oscar is now. Getting fucked over my McLaren. That is where Oscar Piastri is right now. What happened? I'm sorry. At the British Grand Prix, Oscar Piastri, McLaren apparently thought it was a terrible idea to double stack their cars in the pits. Mercedes did it and ended up just fine, except for George DNF, but that had nothing to do with the double stacking. McLaren left Oscar Piastri out on the track, a very wet track on dry tires. If that doesn't tell you something about how they feel. Every team says they don't have a number 1 and a number 2. They do. By the time Lando Norris got out of the pits, because he came in, he pitted, he came back out, and Oscar stayed out for an extra lap, because when Lando came into the pits, they were 1 and 2. Why did they just double stack and then go right back out? Who knows? Because by the time Lando finished his pit stop, got back out, And around the track, he was already behind Oscar, as Oscar was inching around the track to get back to the pit lane. Really effed over Oscar there, frankly. But then Oscar was doing a shoey on the fan stage and throwing his shoe into the crowd. Well, Lando threw the first shoe into the crowd after they did a shoey, and shoeys are the grossest things ever. It's where you put champagne, I believe it was champagne, into your shoe, and then you drink out of it. But the photo of Oscar handing Lando his shoe with just like the biggest doe eyes, like, please drink out of my shoe. And then Lando did, and then Lando proceeded to chuck his shoe across the crowd. That was funny. And then Oscar took off his other shoe and threw his other shoe, and that's how he ended up going home barefoot. The fan stage at the British Grand Prix was so much fun. The videos of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton watching England win go finish their level of playoffs. They are going to the Final Four. They're advancing in the Euros. Was incredible. They were watching the penalties. I don't know much about football at all. European football. But that was incredible. Like, that was so much. They had fun. The British Grand Prix was so much fun. Austria was a wild one. Max and Lando bumped wheels is the best way to describe it. They really didn't crash. What did Lando call it this week? A pathetic crash? Like, it was pathetic. What? It wasn't even a crash. You just ran into each other, and then it fucked up Lando's car. And Lando was very salty about it. He was. And then the internet just took it and rolled. They were like, you know what? We're going to make this whole drama. And it's not drama. Fans are weird because they take stuff and they just blow it out of proportion. Lando, as I'm noticing, first off, Lando at the beginning of the season was very satisfied with P2, P3. And then he won in Miami, and it doesn't satisfy him anymore. P2, P3 is not enough. And that's good. It's a good thing. But I will say he's also very hard on himself. You see that very evidently when he gets out of the car, and it's just. But at the same time, it's just, he gets over it and he moves on. But the internet is just holding on to that. Like, oh, my poor little baby. He's not your poor little baby. He's not. But then you get the interviews in Austria. So, if you don't know, in Formula One, really, I mean, it's kind of the same with sideline interviews at, football games, other games. They were even doing it at the swimming trials. You get out of the pool, and then they throw a microphone in your face. Like, that's just how sports media works. You get out of the car in Formula One, and for all intents and purposes, you go straight to the TV pen. And this kind of blew a lot of things out of proportion in Austria. Lando is angry. He gets rightfully angry. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have a reason to be angry. His race was ended. But he gets out of the car and is thrown right into the TV pen. And this is the point, is you go into the TV pen angry. You haven't had time to review and process and calm down. They throw you right into the TV pen because they want their soundbite. That's the point. That is the entire point. I mean, I say you all, like, you talk about this. Me, I remember it was China, where Daniel Ricciardo got rear-ended by Lance Stroll, and he's already angry, and they throw him into the TV pen, and you get the clip of him going, did he really say that? You get the raw emotion. And that is what, for all of last week, the internet rolled with, was Lando Norris saying he had no respect for Max Verstappen. And the girls were fighting, but the girls were never fighting. As Max told us last week, he doesn't give a shit. That was the best quote. Is Max going, oh, I don't give a shit. All I care about is my relationship with Lando. Lover boy? And the fact that the next day they had, made up. Like, it was fine. Like, not that there was anything to make up, but I just thought that was very interesting from a media aspect, because you don't know what's going on in their lives. You really don't. We throw all of our opinions in like it matters. You don't know these people. All you know is what they do on a racetrack. And then the really over dramatic response you get in the TV pen and in interviews afterwards that are a narrative is crafted there. Not that they really pick out the narrative, but like, you're angry. Now talk to us about it. We're gonna poke the bear. We're gonna add salt to the wound. And that's my 2 cents about the TV pen and Austria. But the social media admins were then fighting. Somebody needs to pay Red Bull's admin more. Truly, because the way it was like, there was one comment and it was like, are they still friends? And the Red Bull admin in the comment goes, we're checking. Then the way McLaren's Twitter account posted the Sky Sports breakdown of what happened during the collision that said it was Max's fault. I saw one meme and it was like, hang on, let me see if I can find it. It was essentially, Lando Norris, welcome to what it's like to fight Max Verstappen. Welcome. We hope you're happy. Hang on. Let me attempt. I think I saved it because it was funny. It was funny. Did I not save it? Yes, I did. These were all so funny. The honeymoon phase is over. Because they were so goofy. Yes, dear at Lando Norris, welcome to the world of racing Max Verstappen. I thought that was so funny. This whole thread is so funny. He pushed me off the track. Max, CEO of pushing drivers off track. I just think it's so interesting. And they're still best friends. No, the best part, and what I will leave you on, because it's now been a very long time. And I'm never sure if I actually make my point. I talked to you for 30 minutes, then I'm like, did I actually make my point? The best photo coming out of Austria was this one. Right here. Focus. This is Max and Lando in the TV pen. And at this current moment, Lando is currently telling them that he has lost respect for Max Verstappen. They're standing right next to each other. The girls are fighting, but they're standing right next to each other. Twitter after the Austria Grand Prix was so funny. In the way, this also needs to be talked about. Austria was incredible. Fernando Alonso got a front row seat to the French Civil War Part 500 at Alpine. And his response was wow. Just wow. Austria up and down the entire grid was funny. It was just so comical. You have Max and Lando fighting, a pure on dogfight for like 20 laps. Then you move into George Russell winning with a yabba dabba doo. You had a French Civil War at one point. The Haas's were yelling at each other. Ferrari's just miserable. Ferrari, what is going on with them? Who knows? But the Austria podium was the team's number 2s. It was a podium made out of number 2s. It was George, Oscar Piastri, and Carlos Sainz. The number 2s prevailed. They prevailed. When in doubt, they're there. If Checo's there much longer, who knows? What else is in my camera roll? Oh, here's Ollie B at the British Grand Prix signing a Lightning McQueen croc. I just thought that was funny. I thought that was quite funny. Oh, and then Ferrari drivers in their rain jackets. Because you have how much money and you make these stupid rain jackets. But I expect a P3. Why P3? That's what that says. Yeah. Oh, and then here's Oscar Hard Eyes Piastri. Hard eyes. That man has hard eyes. Oh, here's the photo I was talking about. When he hands him his shoe. Like, please. Drink out of my shoe. Oh my gosh. I love this little sport. I'm not sure I've made all my points. I'm not really sure what my points were. But this has been a delight. In the wonderful world of Formula One, where is Carlos Sainz going? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But we'll see. We have a week off, and then we go to Hungary, and then Belgium, and then it's summer break. So I expect some pieces to start moving, some dominoes to start falling. I know, this is my last thing I want to leave you on. I feel as though Carlos Sainz has come to a decision purely based off of, in Barcelona, he said that he needed more time to think about it. There were still some decisions that needed to be made, and he was going to get to it in the coming weeks. And then in Austria, on the podium, this is the post-race press conference, he says, I'm just enjoying, because somebody asked him again about, that's the number one thing he's been asked is, where the fuck are you going next year? 'Cause that's just what he has to say. That's the only thing we want to know, Carlos. And how does your hair do that? But he said, I'm just enjoying this now. Like, when he's not sure he's going to have a podium again, and probably never going to have a podium with Ferrari post, this season. And considering how Ferrari's going, how many more podiums do you think you actually have? I don't understand Ferrari. Like, what is going on? What is their problem? Because they need to figure it out. Maybe they have a week off, they can figure out their problems, and we can come back, and we can try to do better. That's all I got for you. I really hope you enjoyed last week's episode. Even if you didn't, I did. It's a little rough around the edges, technically speaking, but I had very much delight with Dearest Kristen. If you haven't seen episode 7, go watch it. Just maybe the first half, don't actually watch the video, just listen to it. Because they're off just the tiniest bit. I tried my best. I tried my very best. That's what I have to say. My name's Hannah. This is ANYWHO. You can expect me here every Friday, probably talking about race cars. Oh, I'll leave you with the book I'm reading right now, because it's sitting in front of me. I'm reading Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. This is my first Lynn Painter book. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm almost done with it. But that's what I'll leave you with. Yeah. It was fun. Yabba dabba doo. Go George Russell. We now have 6 different Grand Prix winners in 12 races. Granted, 5 of those are only 5 other people. The other 7 are Max Verstappen, but Ollie B has a Haas seat, so who cares?